All right, guys, here we are for another episode of The Twilight Zone. Here we are to talk about Episode 10, Season 1, as it is seen on Netflix.
You reading my notes, motherfucker?
I wasn't. I was actually looking directly into the camera.
We can't prove that.
I could. So,
Okay.
this episode, I've seen this one, and this one I remembered as well. So, it didn't,
I'm
didn't
continuing
have that same plot
I'm continuing
twist.
my theme of never remembering anything except for time enough at last, and later it's a cookbook if that is in fact a Twilight Zone episode, which I think it's not.
I think that's
it's Outer Limits. Yeah.
But we'll find out.
We'll find out.
So in this episode, we have a German U-boat commander who is stuck reliving the day that he mercilessly took out a
Ein Feinden and fucking the Fox and the Fortland. And he's shooting and all that stuff. Yeah.
I walk away from this episode with like two thoughts.
Great.
One, I love when he opens a door and it's just like a painting of like the inside of like the boat continuing that way, and I'm like, yeah, I love painted things. That's pretty good. And then B, just like it seems like such a horrifying way to die. Like you're defenseless. The first shots are taken. You're like, well, I can't do anything. What can I do? Well, I can jump into the water where I will certainly die, or I can wait here where I'll eventually be in the water and certainly die, or maybe I'll get shot.
Yay.
Terrible.
Oh yeah, it is a bad way to die and like a bad thing and all that stuff.
But a good way to torture somebody. So
Sure.
we're here, because in the Twilight Zone, no crime goes unpunished, and when you fire on unarmed civilians, women and children, no children actually, just women and men.
So there was a kid who had the doll.
Oh no, there was a kid.
But they made this whole point. So I like tore this episode apart with all stupid things or whatever. But like they show the kid, like the first thing he does is like pick up the doll.
Yes.
And like they make a very point, and then later in the water they show the doll. And then when like they must have shot it first or something, because later when they're talking, he literally just says like women and civil, like he doesn't say women and children. And I feel like for like 200 years the phrase women and children has been like ingrained into everything. And he should have said that.
Maybe
that
not
phrase.
in 1959.
Maybe not for the Germans.
No. I liked his accent kind of slipping and coming back, and then when they did the flashback, it was like in full stride. I thought that was cool. The amnesia angle, where like he's like realizing who he is, so like it becomes even worse. That way he gets the anxiousness of like, we're gonna die here, and then it's like, I'm doing it. Oh my god! Like he realizes who he is just before it happens.
It's like the iconic scene in Arnold Schwarzenegger's The Sixth Day when he looks in the window and goes, "That's me in there. It's my wife and my story," because he's smoking his cigar.
Yes.
Okay. No, I know. I liked this guy. I went back and forth between thinking like he's chewing up the scenery, he's like too much, he's like over the top, and then being like, I kind of love it though. This is kind of great because like you watch old shit and the way that like the way they talk and all that shit. Like he seemed kind of like theatery and stuff.
I thought his
that.
acting was good. I only thought he overplayed the eye movements a bit. Because he just does nothing but dart his eyes constantly, just darting the eyes, dart in the eyes, and I'm like, that's a little too much eye darting.
More eye darting.
No.
Could you do more with the eyes, please? We're very tight on your face. And he's like, okay.
And something about like back in the day, like because they do like a lot of really tight shots. I don't know if it's black and white or like the combination of black and white and makeup, but they have like the cleanest shaves you've like ever seen. It's like, Jesus Christ, that's a clean shave.
Yeah, like the lighting. It looks like a wax figurine of like a person.
It's like,
I know.
What the fuck?
I know. People used to care about shaving.
Yeah.
They used to care about the fancy knives and
now
razors.
we're just lazy.
Now we're just lazy. I liked, so like you're saying with his accent slipping in, I wrote down, stands up, is he German? And then it's like, Frankfurt, yes, or whatever. Because he stands up and basically says like, that will not be necessary, and like fucking goes super German all of a sudden. You're like, what the fuck?
And even like, them, they're like, where are you from?
I love them being
Fritz?
I love them being like suspicious of him and weird and like go check his passport and all that stuff. But I love him being like, wait a minute, am I the killer? Oh my god, 115 and all that fucking stuff. I was like, oh, this is fabulous. Everyone suddenly being gone was a little weird because that kind of telegraphs that this is not reality in a way.
Yeah,
but it's okay.
I don't know what I would have preferred there though.
I know.
Like maybe if he never saw them, like it might have been better. But like the fact that he then saw them and
show
they
up
blink
later,
away, you're like, oh, okay, it's a dream or whatever.
I know.
So it's not exactly good. There's a great Twilight Zone from the future. That Forrest Whitaker's version was at like 2000.
I never saw any of those.
There's one that has a very similar thing to this, where a guy is being attacked by like racists or something, and like he rushes to this guy's car and he's in like a bad neighborhood, and there's like a white guy, and the guy rushing his car is a black guy, and he's like, oh, let me in, and he speeds off, and that guy gets like killed, and he sees it in the paper, and slowly that guy becomes black.
Oh my god.
And then ends up being the guy who needs help.
Oh my god, and then he won't help himself.
Yeah.
Like endless loop.
Exactly.
Oh, that's cool.
So it reminded me, like,
cool.
this is, I think, like, you know, that was based off of this. It's at least how
this is a homage to the
exactly, and a lot of those episodes were,
and like with like an updated, because here, so like I want to talk to you about like the context of it, because like by the end it's like very clear and everything makes sense, but at certain points in like the beginning to middle, I was kind of like, am I supposed to know like this was okay? You know, they say that's 1942, but like I'm aware of like the war, but I don't really know exactly what is happening like right now or something like that. And I'm like, wait a minute, and they're where? Are they going from Lindenberg to whatever? Like everyone in this, and I feel like everyone watching at the time, this was very, very fresh and exactly, and like having the Germans be like merciless murderers that killed children was like perfectly like, yes, we fucking hate these people or whatever. Like it was very much.
But while he's painted as like a vicious killer, it's also like I kind of could see the justification here, because and even in the exact way he tells the guy who's feeling bad about this on the set, he's like if I let them have a warning to get in their fucking lifeboats, they're gonna radio it in, and then we're gonna get killed. We're trying to win a war here, kid.
No, and war as a whole, and like I don't know what the justification, like if they're gonna say like, well, we are patrolling this like territory, and and like the people on the boat are scared of being where they are.
Yes.
Because they like could get like hit or whatever the fuck, or like attacked or something like that. So I don't know if they're really in a war zone, or if that whole part of that ocean was a war zone.
I think
how this works or whatever the
surrounding
fuck.
Like they were sinking everything
because it's just like fuck that shit.
Well, yeah, because supply lines have to get broken. You can't just let people do things.
No, I know. Like so, like in war, there's like rules about doing certain stuff, and I feel like they were trying to make the point, whether or not it's true or whether or not the Germans did it more than us. It's like they were like pushing the envelope on like hitting soft targets or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
But yes, obviously, if this were like a video game, there's no point in like opening up yourself to like counterintelligence against you and all that stuff.
Sure. I loved, and this is just the thing they did back in the day, when like the door opens, the lights turn off.
Oh my god!
So you can't see them from a distance. I think that's just smart. I like it.
Little flavor like that, and it bothered me. These episodes in general bother me because they are short, but not like super short.
No, 22 minutes.
And they spend time doing certain things, but I felt like that door and it being dark in there should have done something or whatever. I guess it's just like a normal thing to like people at that time because there's more boat shit and more war shit or whatever. But I haven't seen that shit in years and like anything. So I was like, oh, that's dope. Fucking and like I figured somebody would like open the door and like it'd be dark and that would cause a certain like like something would happen with that or whatever.
Nah.
They show it a few times.
Just something cool to set the scenery. And I like that, honestly. That it wasn't a gimmick, it was just a thing. It reminded me of like back in the day, they talk about people in London would always smoke with like black like tar paper above their cigarettes so that you couldn't see the light from the cigarette because all the lights at night would be off.
Right.
And like bombers and stuff would be looking for cities.
Looking for stuff, yeah.
And this is back before they knew where the cities were, I guess. They were just literally looking for light to try to find it.
Yeah.
So I like things like that, little bits. I'm like, that's so cool. Yeah. In how horrible it is, of course, but like the idea of like people thinking of all the little things to stay alive.
No, people are disturbing and deficient and powerful. Course. But that last conversation, was that guy super German?
The other guy was
he looked
not
very Swedish or something.
Yeah,
right?
And even his accent came and went.
His accent was like I wrote down like super American guy, like pronouncing everything wrong. Because, like, I have subtitles turned on because I watch, like, late at night or I watch with the AC blasting, like, right next to the television. So, like, fucking, like, he called him, like Merler or something, but it's Mueller. The subtitle said Mueller. Mueller or something. I don't know German, but I'm like, I don't think that's pronounced that way. And then several other things, like, is it actually the Third Reich?
That's something I don't think so.
I thought it was a Reich.
I think it's Reich.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit like that in voiceovers and commercials and everything where like people sound things wrong, and I'm like, did they just not have him like, was there no one on set that knew how to say it? Are you just like watching the clock, going like, all right, fuck, I get paid until just all right. Oh yeah, okay, we got it, good, all right, cool. We're editing. Oh, I didn't say it right. Can we get him back? He's dead now.
I picture like on 30 Rock where like Tracy Morgan is saying sword in a thing, and they're like, well, fuck, like he's so hard to control, we can't possibly make him say it right.
Think about that 50 Cent song where he's saying sword.
That's I like that though.
Yeah, I don't.
I feel like that was intentional.
I never, but that's the problem, is that you can never tell if something was intentional. And like,
that's what I was thinking about.
In Twilight Zone, it's certainly not intentional. Oh, I said it wrong for fun. Like,
no, there's no, and like
either you say it that way or you don't.
Again, like at that time too, I feel like not that World War II is like, oh fuck that shit, I've like forget about it or something like that. But I feel like it was like fresher in people's minds.
Sure,
people's dads were like in it. So like. I feel like all those words and all those things and places and like, oh, the wolf packs were like mercilessly hunting down our ships, our civilian ships, and like that was like fresh, and it was this whole thing.
But yes, had an American said it, it could have been forgiven.
That or whatever.
Like how Brad Pitt says Nazi in
he's way out there. He's fucking way out there.
But that's an American saying it. When a German says it, it has to be correct because it's your fucking language.
No, I know, and like you would not mispronounce and miss whatever fucking things.
You'd think not.
You would think not, but. What are you gonna do?
But a decent episode. I think it rides the line of like this is what the Twilight Zone is.
Yeah, this is like par for the course. I feel like it's like disappointing because looking back, I remember the real standouts, and this is like the normal one. So like, what's that weird light? What's it gonna be? Because it can't be a U-boat. It can't literally be a U-boat. And then he's like, does like the binoculars, and it's really a fucking boat? What? I wanted like. It's an alien, or it's whatever, and then he's on that boat. So I'm like, well, that's that. Okay, now we're back to the Twilight Zone. That's cool.
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck. And then that guy, and someone always does this in every Twilight Zone episode, but that like other guy says, we'll ride the ghost of that ship each night for eternity, a special form of hell for people like us, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, that's literally what happened.
Like, so after he said that, though, I wanted and they showed. I was like, wait a minute, was that guy one of the characters?
Right.
Or like, were they all just playing parts? And then I'm like, nope.
No, not at all. And I would have loved to if like everybody on there.
But you couldn't have the little girl.
No. And like he has like the shipping manifest. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's it too. And like the other character mentions the manifest like a bunch or whatever the fuck. So I feel like he zoned out or like whatever. But why is he? Whatever. Put a pin in that.
Like why is he not have any memory?
Well, but like.
To build the tension and the fear of the episode.
Not that. Like, so he, like, starts to zone out on the U-boat still. And then it cuts to him living out his endless hell or something like that. He doesn't die and then go to, like, the hell. So he's lived for another, like, 37 years, gone back home, had strudel and all that shit, and now he's back here or something like that. But, like, so, like, is he switching to the other guy after he kills himself and then it switches and that's the loop? That feels clunky.
My thought is it is that where he goes home, lives his life with his children, blah blah blah. But this is where when he dies, he goes to hell, and that is his hell.
Right. So this is like a flashback to when he did the horrible thing that like now. And by the way, we're also showing you the hell.
Yeah.
Of the thing. Yeah.
That's it.
No. So he had the manifest because he was like talking about the people on it and doing shit like that. Like, well, we didn't know who was on there yet until we had this fucking thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And you go, okay. So he's like studying the manifest, and the guy says special type of hell, and he goes, oh fuck, and he's like, yeah, and like. These like names haunt him and stick with him or whatever the fuck, and these are the people that he's like invented to be the people on the like boat later or whatever. Yeah.
But the Twilight Zone has powers. It could be them.
Well, yeah. Either way, I mean, it is them because it is
regardless.
Them, that's
doesn't necessarily matter
and all that stuff.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the episode 10 of season 1.
Decent, 5 out of 7.
Sure. I could go with that.
That's a meme. We shouldn't say that.
So let us know what you think in the comments below, and don't die in a fire. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Still waiting for that to serve man shit. I'm going to be waiting a long time.
I think you will.
Fuck yeah.